They said he was gone. They showed us his grave. Amy had cried her last tear, but in the very first scene of season 19, something happens that no one was ready for. Ty comes back. Or does he? It starts with a quiet morning on the ranch. Amy is out feeding the horses. The light is soft and everything feels peaceful. But something is different. Amy suddenly stops and turns toward the barn. She feels it. She doesn't know why, but something inside her whispers, "He's here." She walks slowly toward the barn, holding her breath. The camera focuses on her boots stepping into the dusty shadows. And that's when she sees it. Ty's old jacket. Not just lying in a corner, but hanging on the hook where he always kept it. Clean, fresh, as if someone just placed it there. Amy's face goes pale. Her hand trembles as she touches it. She hasn't seen this jacket since the day of his funeral. Later that day, Jack asks Amy what's wrong. She lies, saying she's just tired. But she can't stop thinking about the jacket. She even checks the security cameras. Strangely, the footage from last night is missing, erased, or maybe never recorded. As Amy works around the ranch, she starts noticing more strange things. Footprints near Ty's old workspace. A cup of coffee left half full on the table outside. The horses seem nervous, like they sense someone they haven't seen in a long time. Amy even hears the soft creak of the front gate opening at night, but when she looks outside, no one is there. Lisa tells Amy maybe it's all in her mind, maybe grief is playing tricks on her, but Amy isn't sure. That night, she finds herself staring at the stars and whispering, "If you're out there, please show me." The next morning brings more questions. Jack finds the barn door unlocked. Amy finds Ty's favorite book open on the table, with a dried leaf marking the page he last read before he died. Then something unbelievable happens. Amy is in the kitchen when Lindy walks in, holding something small in her hands. It's one of Ty's wooden horse carvings. "Look what I found outside, Mommy," she says. Amy freezes. That carving was buried with Ty. By the end of episode 1, Amy's strong heart is filled with doubt. Every moment pulls her between memory and mystery. She doesn't tell anyone about the dreams she's been having. Dreams where Ty stands at the end of the hall, not saying anything, just watching her. Like he's waiting for the right moment. And just when she's about to break, just when she begins to wonder if she's losing her mind, a phone buzzes. It's a number with no name, no message, just one missed call. Amy stares at the screen, then looks out the window. In the distance, standing by the tree line, is a figure. Tall, still, familiar. Was it just her imagination? Or has Ty truly returned? The phone call changed everything. Amy couldn't stop staring at the screen. No name, no voicemail, just one missed call. Her fingers hovered over the screen, tempted to call back, but what would she say? "Hi, are you my dead husband?" It sounded crazy, yet something in her chest told her it wasn't a prank. That evening, Lou came over. She noticed Amy acting strange, quiet, distracted, constantly glancing at the window. When Amy finally told her about the jacket, the carving, and the missed call, Lou looked worried. "Amy, you've been through so much," she said gently. "You need rest. Your mind could be playing tricks." But Amy wasn't convinced. Too many things had happened, too real. That night she couldn't sleep. She went to the barn, stood there in the dark, and whispered into the silence, "Ty, if you're here, give me a sign." A moment passed. Then the barn lights flickered. It could have been faulty wiring, or something more. The next day, Mallory returned to the ranch. She had been traveling, but news of the strange happenings had reached her through social media. "People are saying Ty was seen alive, somewhere in Montana," she told Amy. At first, Amy rolled her eyes, just gossip, but Mallory showed her an online forum, a photo taken 2 weeks ago. A man who looked like Ty wearing a hat, walking near a mountain trail clinic. The face was blurry, but the walk, the stance, it was familiar. Amy's heart raced. That clinic was the same one where Ty had worked during his last few months. Could he have faked his death? Why? Was he in danger? With Mallory's help, Amy began to dig deeper. She checked old emails, looked for patterns. Then she found something shocking. A deleted message in Ty's old account, never seen before. It was a warning, a message that simply said, "Disappear. They know." Amy stared at the screen, her thoughts spinning. Who sent that? What did it mean? Had Ty been running from something all this time? Jack wasn't happy when he heard Amy was reopening old wounds. He told her, "Don't let ghosts take your peace." But Amy couldn't let it go. She needed answers. That evening, she took a quiet ride alone to the lake. It had always been their spot, her and Ty's peaceful place. There, she found a small wooden charm tied to the tree where Ty once carved their initials. It wasn't there before. On the back, carved in careful letters, were the words, "I'm trying." Amy fell to her knees. Tears welled in her eyes. The message was short, simple, but everything about it screamed Ty. His style, his tone, his love. She clutched it close, whispering, "If you're really out there, I'll find you." The audience is left asking the same question Amy is now consumed by. Was Ty ever truly gone? Or has he been hiding all along, protecting something or someone? The moment Amy shared the wooden charm with the family, everything changed inside the Heartland house. The simple message, "I'm trying," sparked a storm no one could hold back. Lou stared at the carving like it was something dangerous. Tim shook his head and said it was just someone playing with Amy's heart. But Jack didn't speak at all. He just looked away, like something deep inside him had cracked. That evening, the family sat around the table, but no one touched their food. Amy told them everything, about the jacket, the phone call, the missing camera footage, and now this charm by the lake. Jack finally spoke. "If Ty's alive, we deserve to know. But if he's not, we have to let him rest." Amy could hear the pain in his voice. The man who had raised Ty like a son was scared, not of ghosts, but of false hope. Lindy sat quietly beside her mother. Then she pulled out a piece of paper. It was a drawing, simple and childlike. It showed the house, the barn, and standing by the door, her dad. "He was here last night," she said softly. "He looked at me and smiled." Amy's hand trembled as she held the drawing. Lindy wasn't lying, but how could a child see what no one else could? The next few days were filled with tension. Amy barely slept. Every sound, every shadow made her jump. Mallory stayed to help, but even she began to feel uneasy. Then something else happened. Georgie arrived unexpectedly. She'd been away training with her new jumping coach, but Lou had called her. She walked through the door, eyes wide with questions. "Is it true?" she asked Amy. "Is Ty really back?" Amy didn't know how to answer. All she could do was show her the charm, the drawing, the strange signs. Georgie sat down, stunned. Then Tim made his feelings clear. "This has to stop," he snapped. "This is dangerous. What if someone's messing with you? What if this isn't Ty, but someone else?" His voice cracked as he shouted. "He's gone. We all saw it. We buried him." Amy stood her ground. "And what if we were wrong?" The family began to split. Some leaned toward hope. Others feared madness. Lisa quietly warned Amy to be careful. She spoke of old stories where people thought they saw lost loved ones, only to fall into heartbreak again. But Amy felt something stronger than grief. A bond. A pull. Every step she took on the ranch now felt like walking in Ty's shadow. She could feel him in the air, in the wind, in the way the horses reacted to the silence. Then came another sign. Late one night, Amy went to the barn to check on a sick horse. There on the table was a notebook. Not just any notebook, Ty's leather-bound journal, the one he carried everywhere. It had been missing since the day of his death. She opened it slowly. The pages were blank, until the last one. A single line written in Ty's handwriting, "I never stopped loving you." Amy's knees buckled. She clutched the notebook like it was his heart. No more doubts, no more fear. She looked up at the stars and whispered, "Wherever you are, I'm coming." But she wasn't the only one watching the stars that night. Outside the ranch, hidden in the trees, a figure stood under the moonlight, silent, still, waiting. Everything had led to this moment. The whispers, the signs, the carvings, the voice in Amy's dream. It was all building to something she could feel in her bones. Ty wasn't just a memory anymore. He was real. Somewhere. Watching. Waiting. And now, Amy was finally ready to face whatever truth was out there. It was a cold evening. The wind howled across the plains and the horses were restless in the barn. Amy stood on the porch, gripping Ty's notebook in her hands. She read that last line over and over again. "I never stopped loving you." Her fingers brushed the ink like it might warm her. A storm was moving in, clouds swallowing the stars, but Amy didn't go inside. She waited. Lindy had gone to sleep hugging the wooden horse. Jack sat by the fire in silence, his eyes full of memories. Tim was outside near the fence, pacing in, the dark, muttering to himself. Even Lou, once the strongest voice of reason, now stayed quiet, unsure what to believe anymore. The whole house had fallen under a strange spell. No one dared to say it out loud, but everyone felt it. Ty was close, and then it happened. The porch light flickered, just like it had in the barn days before. Amy looked up, her breath caught in her throat. Slowly the light dimmed, then glowed brighter as if something was interfering. She stepped forward and opened the door. Silence. Then, footsteps. Slow. Measured. Coming from beyond the fence. Her heart pounded so loud she could barely hear the wind. And there, standing just beyond the gate, was a shadow. A tall figure. Still and silent. Amy stepped off the porch. Her feet touched the earth like it was holy ground. Step by step, she crossed the yard, her eyes locked on the shadow. The wind blew, revealing part of a face under the hood. Her breath froze. That jawline. Those eyes. It couldn't be. She blinked, but when she opened her eyes again, the figure was gone. She ran to the gate. Nothing. No footprints. No sound. Only the soft sound of something hitting the ground behind her. She turned slowly. A locket. Her locket. The one Ty gave her on their wedding day. The one buried with him. Her hands shook as she picked it up. It was warm. Back inside the house, the lights flickered once more. This time, the power went out. Complete darkness. Lindy called out from her room, frightened. Amy ran to her and wrapped her arms around her daughter. "It's okay," she whispered, but her voice was shaking. And then, Amy's phone lit up. Another call, same number, no name. But this time it didn't ring once. It rang 3 times. She answered it with trembling hands. At first, nothing. Then, one word. Amy. Her eyes widened. She dropped the phone. Fade to black. A final screen appears. Heartland Season 19 continues. And just like that, fans everywhere were left holding their breath. Was it really him? Was Ty alive? Or was something even stranger going on?